Hello everyone, it's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I do this with the ladies. Hello.
Excellent morning.
Hi, BC.
Hi.
First time we're seeing you this week.
Yes, so...
Was it intentional? You just told them you don't want to come on the show.
I did not say anything. No. We need to give Nima time. Welcome back, Nima. We all missed you. I'm doing good. I'm doing amazing. I've been very busy anyway. So I've been sorting out things, sorting out business. And I decided, because sometimes when people want to buy my hairs, they'll be negotiating. So I decided to do like a deal day Tuesdays. So on Tuesdays, you can pick what you want and we can negotiate. If it works, then you can have it. But any other day is fixed price. Just go by and support your girl. That's what I was looking at.
You're getting orders, you know, and you're diversifying. You're doing so many other types of hair, braids, the weaves and all that stuff.
So we can all look beautiful. So if you want the African look, that's what I have on, like Nima.
Do you have like kinky wig?
Yes, I do.
Like that,
I do, but you have to pre-order that. Yeah, because it takes a lot of time to process.
Okay, so see if you can.
Busy for the money.
Yeah, so
we gotta make it.
I can see that. We're going global now.
We're going global now.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. So me, I have gifts. Yes, so I'll start putting out every week a question on COVID-19 and the coronavirus out there. And if you get it right, you can tell me something that you know about it and what you're doing. I'll give you a pack from my sister, Christine Dako Makari in the US. She donated this 500 face masks, but it comes in 50. So I'll give you a pack of that if you get the answers correctly. We'll be doing that subsequently. I've been thinking of the ways to distribute them, but see a lot of people, they don't even understand how important it is to be on the mask. So that's what we'll be doing. Thank you,
We're allowed to join in.
No.
It's not fair.
I was going to target our live audience, but that didn't happen. And the mask didn't arrive until I was...
Talking about live audience, I actually miss them.
I
miss live audience, honestly. We have to talk to our guys. They have to find a way to bring back our audience.
How do they sit? We have to space them.
We'll have their face masks on. I don't know.
Social distancing.
You might not have 30, you might have 15 or something. You know,
without give them up to 2
Let me
meters.
quickly call the notice of the government of Lagos State to what is happening under the bridge at Mautu. So in Amodofi, there's a U-turn under the bridge to the other side on Odojo Road. And presently, people who are, dredging sand have dredged close to the pillars holding the bridge. If you drive through that place now, there's almost no sand at all, no land close to the pillars holding that bridge. It's dangerous that those activities continue. And I would like that they do something constructive around, maybe put a barricade so that the water no longer takes away the sand from those pillars. I took pictures just in case somebody...
Yes, so that's a new thing. Start taking pictures.
When you see, just take pictures.
Yes, so don't just come on TV and talk anymore.
Close to the last mile yard, close to the police, and nobody's reporting those activities happening there. It's very sad.
I met a lovely lady yesterday. I mean, it's Dolakbo. She said she knows you. She knows all the other ladies. I'm the last lady of your view that she doesn't know. I don't know if she knows you though. But she's just going on and on and on. It was a nice afternoon I spent with her yesterday. We talked for a long time. And it was just good to hear somebody's story, her experiences. And, she don't never judge people. Everybody has something they've gone through. And, God is blessing everybody in different ways. So it was a good conversation. I enjoyed talking to her yesterday. Let's go on a break. We'll come back with the pages of the newspapers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Reps demand evidence of $11 billion withdrawal from the excess crude account. Tenants now to pay 6% stamp duty, says FIRS. COVID-19, Fayemi goes into isolation. Jagade wins Ondo PDP ticket. Oyo to issue 10 billion naira bond for road projects. And 217 kidnapped suspects, bandits held by police. Lots of stories in the Nation. Let's start with the kidnapped.
Yes. So the police in Kaduna arrested 217 persons believed to be involved in the frequent killings, kidnapping, armed robbery, rustling in the states. They said it took them, they started April 29th to July 22nd for them to have arrested all these 217 persons. And they recovered from them so many dangerous weapons. They have a lot of AK-47, locally made guns. They also found among them charms. They had fake currencies, about running into millions of different currencies, foreign and local currencies that they had with them. They found with them bags of rice, animal feed, just a lot of things.
Did you mention the money?
Yes, they mentioned it. Yes, they had this Arabian diya, about 93 million Arabian diya that they found with them, and other currencies as well.
Okay.
So they've been paraded. Let's see what comes
the
out.
tenants.
News for tenants
Hey,
in
I
Lagos.
am a tenant. God, make me a landlord.
According to the communications director for the FIRC, that's the Federal Inland Revenue Service, there's a 6% stamp duty on leases and tenancy agreement payments now to be borne by tenants,
Yes.
tenants, deducted by agents or property owners and remitted to government. Simple and short.
In addition to that, other stamp duty type rates are for, there's certificates of occupancy, partnership, that's 1,000 naira flat rate, gift of land, you pay 1.5%. Legal mortgage, you pay 0.3%. Others are the legal money. There are a few others, so it's not just us tenants.
The landlords
point is
are
that-
going to be paying something.
those are
Landlords will
already
pay, but
existing.
landlords will charge the tenants.
The
Tenants
tenants
then pay
for it.
because landlords must remit that money to FIRS.
Exactly, those were already existing, but now he's bringing this one under what he called property-related transactions, and that it comes under one ad valorem category under the act that establishes the Federal Inland Revenue Service. And the thing does
As well, so many things to pay these
So
days.
how many, after plenty years,
You
after
just put that one
I
again.
think during former President Obasanjo's time, there was an issue of $11 billion that was withdrawn from the escrow account, and the House is currently probing that to see exactly what happened, because some of the monies were moved without proper due process. So
I did not see the
What they moved it to.
because it was supposed to be
yes,
for
for the power project. So we do,
projects.
so we did not see the evidence of it being done. So they are looking into it. It's interesting that at least
A lot
the
of
work
probes
is
are
being
going
done.
on right now.
Moving on now to the Punch. Keyamo will supervise recruitment. Labour Ministry replies National Assembly. Very interesting story there. Nigerian entrepreneur shot himself over rape allegations, says U.S. police. Jagade wins Ondo PDP tickets. Battles Akeredolu in October poll. Gunmen kill 4 Chinese. Kill cop in Cross River. NDDC probe National Assembly passes verdict on Akpabio and others today. It's deceitful blaming Southern Kaduna killings on politics, says Middle Belt Forum. And Fayemi tests positive, his wife, others go into isolation. Okay, let's start with the human interest.
Yes, so I heard Miriam taking the story yesterday where she talked about the Izuchukwu Madubueze, who's a Nigerian entrepreneur in the US, who shot himself based on the sexual harassment allegation placed on him. So according to the story, he tried to contact the anonymous person who placed this allegation, who actually, I think she's a blogger, she published on her page about 100 names of people that you should be aware of, that they are rapists. So at the end of the day, he shot himself. Investigations are ongoing. Punch Metro actually reached out to the first, I wanted to get the name exactly, police, but they said that's the police.
Police.
Yes, Tampa Police Department, but they said they were not the ones in charge, and this actually happened out of state. But then they got in touch with the police that are handling the investigations. And the family came out to say that they forgiven the person, but they want justice to be done. So people are calling her out that she should be arrested so that they can
mention the person that said it. Let us
exactly
somebody has died.
Who did he rape?
Okay, the major headline, Keyamo, the power play going on between the Minister of State, the Minister himself, and even the National Assembly. So you remember the National Assembly went to the President to practically to report his worker, which is Keyamo. Anyway, what they've resolved is that Keyamo will supervise the recruitment, but the budget of 52 billion was given to the agency, which is the NDE. And they're saying that although the agency reports to him, his job is just to supervise. His job is not implementation. So that budget is given to NDE, and they have a right to question NDE on how that money is spent. But Keyamo has no right
to supervise.
No, he can supervise, but he can't
The National Assembly is asking that the executive take Keyamo off supervising that project. That's what they're asking. Take him off the work.
But they have said that, unfortunately, NDE reports to him. So he will supervise.
What the federal government is
Constitutionally, his job is to supervise.
Constitutionally, NDE should supervise. And the National Assembly quoted Section 82 of the law that recognizes the Nigerian Directorate of Employment to be the one to do this thing.
Supervision.
They're insisting they don't want the Minister for State on it.
But what I read is that their job is to implement, and they're not denying that he has a role as a supervisor, but they're two totally different roles, and he can supervise. But let's move on to Vanguard. COVID-19 outrage over security breach at airport. Boko Haram kills 5 aid workers abducted in Borno. Really sad story there. National Assembly resolution on service chiefs. Lawmakers split over Buhari's refusal to accept decision. Protests as Senate confirms Debo Adesina, 38 other envoys designate leaves out of others. Khan replies presidency, says FG twisting facts on Southern Kaduna crisis. An NPO names NIJ house after late Malam Issa Funtua. Okay, let's talk about the major headline.
Yes, so the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, has accused the DSS that the head, Safiyanu Abba, of stopping an aviation officer from, checking a visitor who came in and set off the alarm, the metal detector. According to the story, he actually gave him a slap. So, but the DSS is saying that they've not received any reports on that, they do not react that way in public. They're actually law-abiding citizens, and nothing like that has ever happened. The FAN is also saying that one of the reasons they are raising alarm is the fact that a lot of VIPs, I think last week they mentioned the governors.
Former governor of Zamfara, that's Yari, Abdullahi, and also the governor of Adamawa, Fintiri too. Both of them refused to be checked.
The protocols.
So
that's why they're raising
And I'm happy that FAN is even raising this.
I believe FAN has CCT, so in case the DSS, because this is their boss is denying. Let them just float the videos. Nigerian will take it up on Twitter.
Is there any other story you want to take in Vanguard?
No.
Okay. I was going to take the aid workers that were beheaded. Let's take it in Vanguard.
Yes okay. I wanted to get the details here.
They had asked for $500,000 from the government, and the government hadn't paid that ransom. And then the Boko Haram members actually executed them, recording it, saying that your people do not care, the infidels that you work for do not care for you.
That's why they don't
That's why they did not pay the ransom, and they were beheaded. Really, really sad. The presidency has responded already, has reacted.
He responded, and he just sent them to sympathize with them. He hasn't told us what he's going to do about this, and this is becoming too much, because if these people feel that they can actually do this and get away with it, and nothing will happen.
Continuous call for the service chiefs to be removed at this time. This is totally
the time.
Thank you very much, Niva, for connecting that. Thank you very much, Niva, for connecting that, because if there's anything the Senate have been saying is remove and fire the service chiefs. This situation should push the presidency to make that decision, if nothing else. Moving on now to the Nigerian Tribune, let's find a story we've not taken. 13 years after reps question $11 billion withdrawal from excess crude account, IG orders investigation into viral video of SARS dehumanizing lady in Ibadan. Boko Haram kills 5, we talked about that already. Reps seek review of 13% derivation fund from the national resources to 50%. I read that story. And the drama continues. Ngige to Faleki. I am your Lagos mentor's mate. You mushing boy talking to me from VI. You yab me, I yab you back. You see? This drama plenty.
Take serious issues.
Take serious matter.
This viral video of this young lady arrested by a supposed Oyo State Command policeman, put on anchor for being in company of someone who supposedly have stole his car, because from what he was saying, she was in company. There was nothing to indict her, and he paraded her in such a defamous way. As there's so many personal questions, it's a disgrace to the Nigerian police force. I think that particular police officer should be fished out, given whatever methods of justice that the police will do such an officer. And that young lady, please, you have every right to sue them easily. Sue him for defamation. Your total reputation, that of your family, by putting your face out there, was destroyed. Was destroyed. So you need to enforce that right. You have every right to enforce it.
And also, I'm happy that the Inspector General of Police is on this, and he has actually sent them to ensure that he investigates. Yes. But unfortunately, we have to wrap up, but we can't display the Ngige story. But pretty much, it's just about...
How did time go?
Time has gone, no. See, I am 7 years older than you. I heard
so
that
some people are VI people. So and a mushy person cannot talk to them anyhow.
Yes, so you're from mushy. How can you talk to
If you're on the island, you are a VIP.
Hey, all you mushy people talking to me, VI boy. Wow.
As be apologies in our National Assembly. It's a normal thing for among Nigerians to yab and yab.
Please, there are more serious
Please don't bring it to our serious business.
Let us go on a break.
But today is Thursday. Let's not carry this seriousness to Thursday.
We'll be right back. Discussing family matters. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, some stories are trending on social media of how some children are being maltreated by their caretakers or relatives. These words are given out to relatives or even strangers as helps where they are subjected to all kinds of inhuman treatment. But they dare not cry out because they are afraid that doing so will attract even worse treatment. Why do some find it difficult to treat their children the same way, so they treat their wards the same way they're treating their own children? Join the conversation on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweet. It's not just about helps. I want us to have it properly situated. It's simply having somebody living in your house. It could be an in-law, it could be a brother, it could be a cousin, it could be somebody that you're helping that lives in your house and it's under your roof. And the fact that you have a problem treating them, giving them the same equal treatment within your room. So, for example, you use a white plate, they use the plastic. You sit in the living room, they sit in the dining room, or they stay in the kitchen. Or in your room, you have a bed and all that, but in their room, it's just a mat. You know, it's that thing of, do I owe you more than I'm already giving? I've given you a house already. You're living in my house. You're eating my food. What else? That's it. That's enough. So it's that thinking we want to talk to today. What are your thoughts on it? And we don't want to judge anybody either, because people have different pockets. It's not everybody that can afford to put AC in somebody's room, and you know. So, but let's be as objective as possible. In your thoughts, is it possible to have that equilibrium in your house?
That question is directed at me, but I wanted to start with what I think is the causes of why people treat others differently. So when I was thinking about it, the first thing that came to my mind is the fact that we do not believe that we're all the same. That's one. There's this separation between you and me. No, this is not the class. I'm still coming to the class, but the fact that I see you as not my blood.
Okay.
So you are an outsider. You see, for people who do that, when they have their blood around, people who are there, maybe their children, their relatives, you see that the treatment is different from people they consider to be outsiders. Right. So the fact that you are not me and I am not you, I don't owe you anything. If I have to give you shelter, that's it. If I have to give you this, that's it. But I won't go the extra mile to treat you like my blood. That's one. Now, the societal class systems that we have is another reason where you feel some people are lower than you are. So why do I treat them the same way that I treat my children? Or why do I treat them the same way that I treat my family? Because I am supposed to be in this class. You hear things like, I'm an island person and you are a Mushin person. It's part of the classes we're talking about. And so when you have people like that come in and you see that they are less than you, you don't owe them anything, you treat them that bad. Another thing could also be the fact that they say, no, be everybody wear the craze, now they naked for outside. Some they wear clothes. Most people are actually mentally, and why I'm going this way is for those ones who now go into torture and abuse of people who are staying with them. There's a mental problem that they are going through that would make them see the person who's staying with them as a property, a burden that I can deal with, I can do anything to and go scot-free because they are not mentally okay. And the final one for me is sheer wickedness, where you just feel this person is less than a human being and should be treated so.
Now, if you think of the story of the deaconess who maltreated the child living with her, 14-year-old girl, another one that drove a nail in the head of the child. You see, it's not like people are just utterly mad. It's just that this thing
there are some cultural factors that encourage such things.
Okay.
Because we've seen where a small child born by his or her own parents in Akwa Ibom was dumped for witchcraft. And a charity worker from somewhere abroad picked that boy up, and today he's doing well. And culturally, it was a widely accepted custom of child witchcraft and all that in that area.
Yes.
So some people, when they bring an innocent child, and this child is, children are difficult. I've seen where a particular child is just continuously, they hear words, devil they inside them, they keep beating out the devil from that child. And you will see people excuse the maltreatment of the child because the person has said religiously is evil, is possessed, that's the word. They say the person is possessed, the child is possessed. So they beat possessed demons out of the child till they almost kill that child. Some people even do it to their own biological child.
Children,
so culturally, there are certain things that encourage such wickedness. But the truth is, when it comes to issues of emotion, it's relative. It's not unique to everybody. It's unique to everybody. It's not, general to everybody. I could love another child extremely, even almost more than I do mine, for whatever reason, and it will be difficult for the next person. Know yourself and what you can take. Personally, I don't keep, because maybe the kind of punishment I will give to my child will not be suitable for the person looking.
Right.
I beat my own daughter. If it's not okay by you, please step aside. And I beat my children. But it's not okay by you, stay your lane. But if you bring in another child into your house and you use that same standard and someone is judging you, is it still maltreatment?
That's a good question. Because there was a time, I think I mentioned it on the show, the time my help, I hit my help that time. Not because I hated her, but because I would have done exactly the same thing to my daughter.
Child.
In fact, I had spanked my daughter first for a different thing. She now did the same thing, but I think it was on the show. Then I said, Maria, under no circumstance, you hit somebody else's child. So in fact, after that day...
So I don't keep somebody else's child in my house.
Because she was somebody else's child, I said, you know what, I will not touch you again, because my own child, I will beat that one too, because I know that I'm trying to raise her in a certain way. But you, God forbid anything happens, they will hold me responsible.
This thing, Morayo, has cost this society a lot. So I handled the matter. And when I was counseling the boy in question, because the boy don't carry Oshis police station, I was asking him, what do you do when you wake up? What is your daily, because a child must have chores, you must have responsibilities that you are taught. You are now 21. What did you do all your life? Say, even now. I said, okay, now what do you do? Say, my mommy, that's the auntie he lives with, will make my food, and that's when I wake up to eat. And you're 21.
21?
I said, okay, when you were 18, what do you do? My mommy, I said, don't you wake up for the morning prayers? We're Muslims. He said, every time. The uncle answered, he doesn't. He said, okay, auntie, sometimes. But the woman's children, they're differently raised. This boy,
same house, they live
in the same house, this boy was brought in as a late relative's child. And she wanted to train the child the way she wanted. But the eyes of the hypocrites, he don't beat him. The other day I said, he knocked him for front of head. The woman Kukuma left the boy for the people that can look very well to be raising from a distance.
And now the boy is spoiled.
Now the boy is a bad example to even her own children, because when her own came, she refused to spare the rod. But this particular boy, she was afraid to even take the rod. This thing continued to cost us.
Interesting. Let me take this call from Nene. Thank you for even taking me there. Nene, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
First time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Okay, so my view is this. I think that whether they are relatives, well, I want to speak with respect to house helps especially.
Yes.
I think that we should all treat them as equal. I was raised to treat house help everywhere, all the same, eat from the same pot, and all of that. I had a help for 11 years. She came when my daughter was 2, and she left after 11 years. I treated her same. She used to travel with us abroad. She used to wear the clothes off my back. I treated her with equity. Everyone thought she was my younger sister. Yeah. But you see, the flip side to this is sometimes some of this helps as well. They bite the fingers that fed them. This girl left my house, in rancor. She started standing up to me. She started talking back at me. She was keeping malice with me when I corrected her.
Same here.
So sometimes you find that people react to their previous experiences with them. However, my standpoint is you treat them like human beings. I mean, you are not treating them right because you want, like a payment.
Right.
But Nene, let me quickly ask.
Treat them with equity and with fairness.
Nene, at what age did she leave? Exactly.
She left after 11 years.
How old was she at the time?
Oh, no, sorry, she was 31. She came when she was 20, and she left when she was 31 because
so
she started to feel that she was second madam in my house, that sort of thing. I couldn't correct her and all of that.
Thank you very much, Nene, for that. You see, that's in the situation of a help. But I'm talking about, in addition to that, there's a situation whereby you have, and I like where you took us to, where you have somebody in your custody. And because of society, and that's what I want to talk to today, changing that thinking and perception. Because of society, that person couldn't raise that child appropriately. And now today, you're reaping that.
Yes.
I remember growing up, I think I shared the story before, that my mom was a very, very busy person. She's always, during the period when I came at a time where she was all in her business, so I think really she didn't have that all in her business, so I think really she didn't have that one-on-one time with me at that time. But my stepmother then was always a homebody. She was the housewife type of person. And I used to notice that she would send my sister to the kitchen, go and cook this for your daddy's coming in the evening, or go and do it last or go and do this. My sister was there in the kitchen slaving. And I felt she just liked me, that she leave me in the living room, I'll be there watching TV. I enjoy it. I just felt my stepmother loves me so much. I'll sit down watching TV. While she'll be saying her daughter to the kitchen, go and do this, go and cut that. The poor girl will not watch TV. They call everything kitchen. I was not feeling like the special one. But it was as I grew up, and I realized,
Morayo,
they were depriving me.
Right, your own was, she didn't even tell you. One of my stepmothers looked at me, I think I was 11, and told me, I will not train you because you are not my child.
To your face?
To my face. I won't teach you how to cook. I won't teach you how to do anything because you're not my child. I don't care. To my face.
For real?
Yes. So for 2 years that she was in that house, I did practically nothing. She just ignored me. But,
But you help yourself.
No, wait, now they keep changing. So when she left, another tenor came. But what I wanted to say is, so it's okay to, for me, we look at society too much. That's the problem that we have. So when you have a family, have a roadmap on how you want to live in that family. And when people are coming in, give them the ground rules. If you're going to stay in my house, I had someone who stayed in my house for that time, and I told the auntie, I will treat her like my children. That means that if I am shopping, I shop for her where I shop for my children. We all eat on the dining table. She watches TV. She can change the channel as she wants. If I am smacking, I smack her the way I smack my children. So that was the rule in my house. I will not sit back and let her get spoiled because she's not my child. I don't care. If she gets tired tomorrow and she wants to leave, then she can leave. And that's exactly what happened when she now decided to start having boyfriends and leave. And it was time to let go. And when she started the mess up, I didn't let her go immediately. I gave people that story from time to, because I kept wondering, if it's my daughter at this age, how would I send her away? No, I would talk to her like a mother and all of that.
Thank you for that, taking like the thinking of, I don't want them to say to society. Because if let me take this call from Victoria. She's holding for a while. Good morning, Victoria. Are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning.
First time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Okay. I want us to also look at it this way. Sometimes they help themselves. They maltreat the children in the house.
I can't forget
So
that.
Hello?
We can hear you very clearly. Please go ahead.
So what should the employers do in that case when they help themselves maltreat the children at home?
Return to sender, don't maltreat.
Immediately.
Yeah. So you see, there are reasons for everything. Sometimes you return to sender, but sometimes when you have a conversation, I know that I had a help once that when I realized she was bitter, there was just something about her that there was this darkness around her. She was just angry. I had to sit down with her. Tell me about your growing up. What happened to your mother? I then found out that her mother died at her birth. She was abandoned with an uncle. She was moved from home to home, and she was also molested. So I knew she was carrying a burden of, I don't trust anybody, let me just do my work and go. You that you're a privileged child, you're here, come eating noodles, eating this, So she had that anger. But I now had to decalibrate and sit down with, okay, you are now here. This is what you're allowed to do. You're allowed to eat it. You are free. It takes time. Yeah. But eventually she relaxed and realized, okay, these people are here because they care.
They love me.
So if you have that time, take that time. If you don't have the time, return back to sender. You know what, madam, go back to your house. Because the truth is that you can't stay in a house where people are maltreating each other. But going back to us changing the thinking of, why can't I treat you like I would treat the other person? That's a major problem.
I think the mindset should be, treat every human, not the one living yourself alone, the one outside, the one you meet, every human that you meet with the kindness that you think you deserve. So that life will just be easy for all of us. So when you now bring the person within your house, and your child is drinking ice cream, let the person to be licking ice cream. There's no separate plate. Yeah. I eat from the same plate with everybody that comes to the house. So that's the policy. And you can wear the clothes that I wear. There's no problem. What I would not take is noticing any maltreatment because of age difference between my child. So someone was minding my children some years back. And whenever I come home, they're looking okay, nothing. But there was this constant verbal threats. So at one point, I sent my daughter to do something. And the girl said to my daughter, I said, don't touch this thing. And then she said, give it to me. And my daughter disobeyed me to obey her.
Back down.
All the things that she has done before, lying, everything, small compared to that thing. Because there's nobody in the world that can intimidate my child except me.
Exactly.
If there's somebody else, that person that will intimidate the life of that person. So I just said, I stand up as tall as you are. See you later. Go and tell your mother what you did. She left and she told the world the entire another story. I don't know what I did to her because you will never know. Right. And I just looked at that arrangement and I asked my daughter once, why did you come late from Arabic class? She said that I'm annoying her. And I said, I told you must come before 2 because you're done. She said that she was gisting with her friends and she said my daughter was annoying her. I kept that one aside, but that one she did physically in my presence.
Power play.
Yeah, but she got and just disappeared.
Let me go ahead and make conversation. Let me come back, we'll open our phone lines and take more tweets. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So there are so many angles to this story. And going to our reference case, which is the story of Deaconess Yemi Awol Lala. That's the woman from Kaduna State. She actually used a knife to stab a 14-year-old girl. This was just July 12th, a few days ago. And thank God the police is on this case. But what was more painful was that she was supposed to be taking care of this child. She's a deaconess in the church.
So
it all goes back to that anger management.
The painful part of that story was that the girl, as soon as she was brought to the house, was relegated to the toilet, given a cup to drink from the toilet. Separated from the children and only called out when they needed to use her as was she sold into slavery? In Nigeria, we are complaining about what is happening in Lebanon and the Middle East by another Nigerian. The truth is, if you know yourself, you know you're a bit temperamental, don't take somebody in. It's not difficult. I usually, when I'm angry, when I feel like smacking somebody else's child, say to the child, go into your house. I say that. So my husband will say, no, let her stay. I'll say, she has to leave now.
No. Puts this knife on a hot plate. Hot. Now put something on the poor girl's face.
What exactly was the crime? Because even public mobbing of a criminal sin and caught in the act is not as bad as what this poor girl has gone through.
I even think this is an embarrassment to her religion. She's a deaconess.
I think we should separate
No, I'm not going to.
She's a human being first.
No, she's a human being first. Yes. But there are certain titles that when you have, it informs your behavior. It informs your behavior because you're supposed to be an example. So for you to be in that position in church and have the mind to treat a human being like that, there's something wrong. I think she should be mentally evaluated.
No, when the faith is not in your heart, it is on the face of you. So I'm a deaconess. I'm going to some people wear the hijab and do a lot of other things.
Let me take this call for me, Godo. Good morning. Are you there? Hello.
Latifa.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I want to speak on behalf of you accommodating people in your house.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're live.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
We can Very clearly. You. Please go ahead.
She wanted to talk about the...
So
we lost that.
The issue of this dickiness, and also there's another angle I would like us to touch on. The fact that when you feel you're coming from a privileged home, you're rich, you have the affluence, and something happens to maybe a distant cousin or an uncle, maybe they are in the village or something happens, and then the children have to come to the city to live with you. So you're bringing in nephews, long-distance cousins, staying with you, and then you begin to treat them differently because in your own mind, they don't eat 3 times a day.
So why would they come
They
to
don't
my
eat
house
chicken
and eat?
every time.
Exactly.
Oh, now come and start eating. What is that nonsense? Let them not think as if it is free of charge here in the city. So in your own house, what you cook for them, what you cook for your family, you take the basmati rice.
That's how you teach the child how to steal.
And then you, yes.
That's how you teach the child how to steal. Because what I'm looking at, I'm longing for. The day you're not at home,
I'll take it. Let me
sense people. That's what they see the life they are shopping. Let me shop my own, and then you come and you say the child has stolen. Because the truth is, some things when you take them far from these people, that's the reaction you get is different. So imagine that your child eats a meal and your relative that is visiting eats from the same pot that you have made. Because what my mother used to do was have a big pot for everybody in the house. So everybody eats from that pot. Any child that now goes beyond that is stealing. But not the one that the child has not tasted. And you have eaten and you kept it somewhere and covered it. Of course it will go missing. It's normal, it's natural, it's nature.
Mariah, so what I see is, it's just unfortunate that a lot of people haven't learned the act of loving themselves. So it transcends into how they treat other people, especially people who they feel are helpless. Now, if you are in a space, we need to start educating people on how to, first of all, love themselves. If you're in a position where you have a healthy, high self-esteem, you are not in competition with anybody, you're not looking at these children to say they want to now come and start outshining my children, you will treat them like you treat your children because you're not dragging anything with them. So till we get to that space, and unfortunately, a lot of people are in that space without even knowing that is the reason they are doing what they do. Because if you ask them, why are you separating these 2 children? It's as bad as you put them in different schools, you don't cater for them the way you cater for your own. And you feel, I need to separate the lots. They are less than my children, so they should be different.
Maybe not because they are less. Be fairness.
They are less in their mind.
Let me say, look at this angle. You don't have as much. People, because you live in the city, people assume. I know somebody who called me that somebody passed on in their family, and she now and her husband will have to take care of 5 children because he's the next in line. Additional to her own family. There's no other place where these children are going to. She's calling me. In fact, I'll say that when Nima returns, because Nima is the person that has access to all these government people. You know, that what can she do? It's a burden. So, for example, your 2 children that you and your husband are managing, going to private school. You now bring 5 children from somewhere to come and join you. You now put them in private school. Where are you going to afford that? So, society also must, let's us stop judging. When a family says, okay, you stay in that school for now, at least you're going to school. Let us meet them halfway and not assume that because their children, they're not going to the private school, doesn't mean that they hate them or they're maltreating them.
No. For the school, I would understand. But what would be my pain is when I come into the house and I see that you people are eating differently. You are eating something else and they are eating in the kitchen. They don't have access to the sitting room. Meanwhile, your kids will sit there and watch TV or they are locked up in the, I see that disparity in the way you treat them. That will be my major problem. For school, I may want to, it's not my business, I may want to understand. As long as you put them, some people will not even put them in school at all. When you put them in school, you may not have the money to put all of them in the same school, which is okay. I can't judge your pocket because I do not understand. But how you treat that, I do not understand. But how you treat that child is how I would judge you.
These things were done by families in the past. So a child that is gifted, that is academic, that is an A-list student, excellent and all that, everybody can gather and say this person must go to school. But not all the 5 will go to school. And it's not wrong that some of them are learning a skill. What is important is that skill is something that they can fed from. Because when we sit down and we say school, and for some people, school is an injustice. For school, now misplaced priority for
Let me take this call from Yakub. Yakub, are you still there? Yakub, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, LG sister. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'm delighted that you are back. Morayo, I love the way you relate to this topic earlier, when in illustration that somebody like Ngige would treat any child separately from his own. Why is that? Because somebody like me, I'm a Mushin boy. I was born in a Mushin Odiolowo, brought up in a Mushin Odiolowo. And then somebody from outside the Lagos now started telling me that I'm a Muslim boy talking to Lagos Island boy. It is absurd. He leave the face of the coin and treating the other face, because you see, let's just leave that topic for now, because I'm assure you.
Yeah, cool. We are a Muslim boy. Have you eaten lobster before?
Oh, God.
Have you had lobster?
Hello, they have crab there.
Hello.
Sorry, go ahead.
Don't mind me. Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, Morayo, if you know that you cannot treat your children equally with other child that you want to brought into your house, it's better for you to just stay alone with your children.
Thank you.
Look at what Anima said. For me, in my house, I do spank my children. And then if somebody outside, a child, come into my house and did the same thing, wrong thing that my child did, I will do the same thing to that boy or girl.
Thank you.
If you come to my house, you have to behave
yourself.
If you don't, I will spank you. And then in this country, Morayo, look at the stories that you just read. The woman that used a hot knife to somebody. See, in our country, we should be able to do the same thing to that kind of a woman, so that I will know the pain. If you can do that to a child, they should be able to do it to you as a woman. It is absurd.
Thank you. You see, I have seen, as I said, I want us to speak from both ends, because I have seen situations where a family had the burden of taking care of more children. So in their household, they had about 13 people. And I knew that the family, they were pretty modest, and it wasn't easy. So when they cook, for example, so chicken was luxury. So fish now is something that everybody cooks. So what I observed that the woman used to do then was that when she makes fish, like maybe the regular fish, for the whole house, now she can now make a pot of chicken where herself and her husband is for them. It's just me and my husband. My children plus the other children, everybody go and eat fish. But there's always that privacy in your bedroom. You and your husband, you have like 10 pieces of chicken, both of you are
children need the chicken more now.
Hanging there. No, I'm just talking about growing up now. Growing up.
For their break.
So the children of your own actual children, they are the ones that are allowed to come into the inner room, which is your own private space. They now come in and take a piece of chicken because you're eating chicken with your husband. They now go downstairs with that piece of chicken and they eat the chicken. The other children now feel like, so you got chicken.
You got chicken.
So there's that issue. You see, I'm telling you a real life story that happened. Not because the woman did not try to be as equitable for everybody in the house. But listen, your own child will come to your bedroom and collect chicken. You not give the child chicken.
Mariah, wisdom is profitable to direct. Now, let me give you this instance. There was a time I hosted a friend of mine. And then, for me, I started learning some things early. And I was able to apply them. But then, my husband was in a different space. And so, while he was eating, after the kids had eaten, the children came to the room, they saw him eating, and they took the stuff he was eating, and they went out. They had friends over, and then they were eating, and then the friends were looking. So I noticed that, and I came to my husband. I said, you know we have visitors. You cannot, he said, they are my children. You cannot afford to give your children and not give them. It doesn't matter if everybody has eaten. You don't do that. So the remaining one, go and share it outside. And I was like, but I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't give them what they took it. I said, I know. But you need to pay attention to be sensitive to the people around you. So what she would have done in that case is to ensure that even if the children eat the chicken, they will eat it in that room.
But what are you now teaching the children? What are you teaching them? You sit down here.
Understand something. She's already eating the chicken with her husband.
Yes.
Do you want to stop her? She has done it already.
No.
And the children come in and insist they're going to eat chicken. And trust me, you know how men are. They will say, give them. It's we that are the strict ones. They will say, give them.
What would you say in that
situation? The only thing she could have done is to make sure, eat it here and leave this place. Don't take it out.
What would you do?
Once such thing is arriving in my house, I'm the madam, I'll take over everything.
Your husband is eating the chicken.
I do that. I control it. I will lock it up. When everybody has gone, I'll bring it. Let me give you a personal story. My daughter has a bike, and I always learn this thing from what my mom and my dad used to talk about his mom, because it was a polygamous setting, and she had gone home with her first child, went with a walker from Lagos, they bought all the toys. And my mother, the moment my mother brought it, my grandmother said, take it back in.
Till
there
they
are
go.
many children here. If you don't want to cry that children spoil it, I know that they cannot climb it, don't beat anybody's child for using it. So take it inside.
Take it inside.
So that's the principle I use. I told my daughter, your bicycles are outside. Whenever you are riding, everybody that wants to ride must be able to ride it.
They will.
If you will not ride it, lock it, let all of us be looking at it there.
All right, let me go on a break.
Yeah,
We'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So there are still many angles to this story. I mean, there are different versions. Even there's the Iyale version where first wife, second wife, third wife. Let me let you establish
the Yawole one I wanted to say first.
Okay.
This Yawole. So every woman that is married.
There's the first wife is Yawole. That's the first wife.
The Yawole is the women of a family. Once you marry to a family,
we'll call them women that are in the family.
All the wives, all the daughter-in-laws are Yawole.
Oh, I thought you meant
so
the
you have
first wife.
senior, Iyale, you have junior, Iyawo, you know, based on your arrangements. And in some families, it's well established. I love my friends' family. All the wives, they know their level. Yeah. And everybody have respect. But if you see this, if you see them, if you see, no, their mother-in-law born 5 boys. You don't know say they will get association of wives. The mother-in-law had 5 boys. Of course, they will have association of wives. Yeah. In order not to have any form of disrespect, the mother-in-law established how the daughters-in-law will live. Okay. And that rule has ensured that there's respect, there's code. In fact, they are so close. When I go there, you can hardly tell the difference. They look like sisters. Once when she was pregnant, we were in the hospital. I just saw women around her. They were the ones that brought her to the hospital. They were cooking and coming. They were going and coming. I said, your sister? I said, no, I want Yawolewa. Oh, wow. Do you understand? And they took care of everything. Her mother-in-law didn't come there. It's a nice naming everything. So when it is well established, it's beautiful. Okay. But the painful part side of it is where, in the Yoruba custom now, where as you come in, child that they born that is younger than you, but because they did not born the child that did not take part in the naming, you have to either find a pet name or put auntie before you call the child. Now, so imagine that such a child that misbehave and you want to correct her. You say, hey, Auntie Bola, that thing you are doing is wrong. Now, maybe the person is not. You say, and you are calling the person auntie. Of course, it's difficult for the child to reciprocate respect. Yeah. So that thing is so hypocritical and destroys the balance of that relationship of elder and junior. Okay, I think I get you now. So you're saying that as a wife, you come in and you're required to call those before you auntie, right. The children. Now, when you now go, brother, when those people now come into your house for whatever reason and they begin to misbehave, you can't correct them. No, you can't. There's that hypocrisy. Okay, let me take this call from Nosa. Are you there? Nosa, are you there? Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. Turn on the TV, please. You're listening to television, not us. We have to disconnect that call. Okay,
yeah, so, yes, you know, this tradition is actually funny because it's not so in my place. Even if you come in and there are other people before you, if I'm older than you, I'm not going to put any auntie or anything. So it's easier to relate. Yes, I can relate. You are younger. I am a wife here. I'm not here to serve you. And if you misbehave, I can actually call you to order and correct you. So that's how it works where I come from. But I've had this so far. In fact, when I newly came to Lagos and I came to stay with my mom, it was this sort of thing. You have to call this person auntie. And I had this elder sister who was always waiting for me to call auntie. And I would just call your name straight, like, Buki, what's up? Or Jumoke. Right. And they would look at me like, Tia, get respect. You don't have respect. You don't have respect. But for me, I see it as, and then I see the people who actually call them the auntie going back to slander them and insult them. And I feel terrible. So
the question is, listen, we're all trying to embrace culture and encourage culture. We want to grow and evolve our culture, but not to the point where we are losing this important part of it. The reason why it is a cultural part of it is to ensure that there's proper hierarchy, proper regard. So let's not discredit the culture.
We shouldn't. Not in this way.
We shouldn't, but
not in this way.
I think this particular one of where younger children to use should be treated with extreme respect just because they are your husband's side is hypocritical and should be expunged. Reason is because you give
me the reason after the second. Let me just talk this call. Nosa has been holding for a while. Nosa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Morayo.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. I'm a first-timer.
Welcome to the show.
Hey. I work with NAPTIP.
Okay.
Okay, great.
National Agency for the Prohibition of Human Trafficking.
Yes. Okay.
And we have had a lot of all those experiences from women that are maltreating their housemaids. As you earlier said, please, if you cannot take care of another person's child,
bring them in.
Do not accept them into your home.
That's all.
It is a difficult thing to do as a human being. But then, if you are human and you are sensitive, then you will treat another man's child the way you would treat your own child. It doesn't matter if they don't go to the same school. probably because of financial constraints, but make sure they go to school.
Exactly.
Let them eat from the same food that you're cooking for your children.
Yeah.
Let them watch TV your children are watching. Let them sleep on a bed, not on the floor.
Right.
We have had incidents where a woman would maltreat the child, make the child drink from water from the toilet.
Ew.
I mean, who does that to another human being?
Ew.
I don't believe in being, if you're a Christian or if you're a Muslim, you just have to have a human faith. You have to be sensitive.
Yeah.
You just have to be sensitive.
Absolutely.
So women, if we cannot take care of another man's child,
Don't carry them.
whether a stepchild, housemaid, house help, please leave them alone.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Musa.
Painful.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. That makes I think she said it.
I think we should also make it simple for them to be able to say, I don't want to take.
When they bring to you.
Simple.
Just face the solenu than face the solenu bigger later. Just say, I don't want to take, and let the people around understand.
Because the lady that contacted me, she is left to her. She doesn't want to accept these children, but it's her husband's responsibility. And she doesn't want to take on these 5 children. In fact, she was begging me. She still sent me a message last, a whole 5 children. Oh, wow. How is she going to handle it by herself? And they're in her house. She can't afford it, but her husband feels that she feels obligated to do it. So she's thinking how the state government can assist her. But in that situation where she's being forced to take of these children, things will happen.
Yes.
And they will now say, oh,
especially she would bend, she would lose it at some point. And we should be generous enough to understand, but I don't think that would justify any form of abuse. There are times when she would really, even the one where we born, ordinary too. Me, I used to run out sometimes, just go for a stroll and say, please, let me just be okay. When I come back, she'll be like this body.
Let's go back to what we were saying before.
So on the issue of those younger children, a person will know that in our society we appreciate the elder position against younger ones. And it should be transmitted like that, transferred into the home. No, there's no wife that is marrying into your house to come and be reborn. That's a notion of chopping one loju and is insulting of the elder. And then it takes away the authority of that elder. So imagine is in your presence that child is doing something wrong. You have the ability to correct. Women in those side of Nigeria became so hypocritical and pretentious. So you will be looking and say, those kind of things.
Let me take Victor. Victor, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah, I'm first-time caller.
Welcome to the show. Lots of presents for us today.
Yeah. I enjoy your topic for the day. I just wanted to contribute.
Yes, go ahead.
Like me, I just lost my wife. I have no option than to have a good husband. And I was just trying to look for a good one that can fit in. So many of them came. You understand? And I was trying to know which one do I pick until one recent one came to my house. It's an orphan, about 25 years old. I thought, okay, this one will be okay for me. Trying to know her was difficult for me because there was nobody to ask. But at the end, I just listened to myself. I said, okay, let me pick her. I took her in, gave her room. She was asking me for 15,000. But I said, okay, she's going to be like a wife or a sister or whatever. I just wanted to take her like my own person. I was not trying to see her as a different person. So my mother was with me. When I lost my wife, January, I brought in my mother. I wanted somebody to be close to my mother with the children as I have 3 children.
Yeah.
And we're living.
Hello?
We lost
that call. We really wanted to get that story. Please do try to call back.
Now, I wanted to quickly, add to what she has said. So I know that culture is a way of life, and we are actually the ones that design the cultures that guide us. So if there's a culture that is not serving, we should be able to start dropping it, and families should be able to say, this is the one that works for us. So we want this hierarchy, we want this respect, and if these women come in and they cannot correct these children, that means it makes no sense. We're going to usurp hierarchy. So you can actually make adjustments. We don't have to see that this is how it's done in this part of the world and we hold it hook, line.
Now, before we round up, let us talk about the issue of witchcraft. Because it's quite prevalent amongst us. We always see that there's something, this girl has a demon inside her. This person that is living in my house, they sent her from village to me. Because since she stepped into my house, I lost my job, my child fell sick, something happens that, you know, and as much as we don't want to discredit culture either, because whether we like it or not, these things happen. I hear, at least Nollywood tells us that. I don't know, but we hear.
We hear wife, they say LSLC.
So we hear these things. We can't confirm. There's no scientific evidence to prove it was because the woman girl entered your house that people started falling sick. We don't know that. But based on what they've told us, we feel that when Lagbaja comes in, but if that happens, is that maltreatment of it is this girl's spirit that is causing the problem. Because of that, you now put her in the backyard. You don't feed her. You don't care for her. You don't give her clothes to wear.
You don't see the good in her.
You don't see the good in her. You see this one is a demon. But because culturally you have to keep her in your house, she's there.
Okay. I would say my people used to say, or bakara no yahara or limale no yahara. So if you think that there's a value, if you put a value to the human, let's assume that you were not seeing a child when that girl came. Even though you lost your job, you have a business on the side, you know that girl will run the errands for you. Put a value to what she does for you, not the food she eats. Because the moment you send her out of your house, the work go there for you now. She may not because of food, you say she eats too much, she should go. Or she's the witch, she should go. The problem that you had, maybe you needed an assistant desperately, that problem will remain unsolved with you. So people should start to put value to humans. So if you have that child with you that helps you run your house, you see that child from that value, things will be easier. Because where you put your mind and this will come. You
can't see value when you suddenly lose your job.
That's what you're seeing. You could lose your job because you gave birth. No, if you born now, you lose your job. People marry. I know someone who married 3 months later, mother-in-law dies, father-in-law dies. Yeah. And the people around were just rumoring, he was 3 months old. The ones that are married today and something happened the next day is a lesser sin. So we should stop tying people to those kind of things. We must put value to people differently.
Yeah,
those suspicion, superstitions that we put around people damages families for years.
Yes, forever. Let me take this call from Moses. Moses, are you there? Moses, are you there from Akute?
Yes, I'm there. Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, you're live.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your program. I'm a regular fan of the program. And
thank you.
Thank you for the great work you are doing.
Thank you.
The topic you are discussing this morning, I think, is a very sensitive one. Permit me to use this in Yoruba culture, because I know you understand very well. Yoruba said, "Omolomo shorumu losoko." That means when you are taking another person's child to the farm, it's very sensitive. When the child is taking the lead, they said because you want the child's clothes to be wet. When the child is behind, they said so that an animal can hunt the child and take the child away. So it's very sensitive. But I think the middle line is that, like the previous caller said, if you cannot manage it, if you cannot treat the child as equal as your own, it's better leave the child. So when you are bringing them in to stay with you, you need extra care because everything you do will be read, a meaning will be read to it. So I just believe...
Moses, let me pause you for a second. You see, that's what we want to tackle. Reading meaning into what somebody else is doing. Yes. The issue is that, should we worry about what the meaning people are reading, or should we just worry about our conscience? Once my conscience says I'm treating this person as fairly as I can, shouldn't that suffice? Must we continually reevaluate what others are saying to be seen to be... Let them see us doing... Is that not the issue, you think, in our society, where we're constantly thinking about what others think?
Okay, the conscience also, I think, is a relative term. Some people's conscience are sealed. Even when they are doing wrong thing, they don't think it's a wrong thing because they are free to do it. So therefore, when you are doing the way you are treating a child in the face of the public, you must be seen to be fair. Because when you are doing something that you think is fair, it must be seen to be fair.
Seen to be. Okay. Fantastic. Very, very much. Thank you very much, Moses, for clarifying that. Yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to add to what Nima has said concerning the spiritual aspect where we like to say, because you came in, bad luck and all of that. I do not have a definition for how that works. I just want to allow people to understand their energies and see. There are some people that your energies don't rhyme. So when they come in, it seems like something is wrong.
Energy.
Exactly. It's not about the person.
It's
better to call it energy than
to because you guys don't just work together somehow.
So you can let the person go.
You can let the person go. The person mustn't stay with you. But I also wanted to take it to this direction of a lot of parents do not know how to handle children. And so when they see children who are consistently stubborn, not listening, not paying attention, they say they are demonic, they are possessed, they are this, they are that. My own son has broken television 2 times. I did not cut off his head. Imagine if that boy was with somebody else. They would have said, he's possessed. Or this and that. So we need to learn how to handle. There are some children that are very energetic. You need to keep them activated at all times. Give them things to do.
Busy.
You know, to give them rice and beans to count.
Yes.
You know, so that
somebody said buy a you know that trampoline that you just be jumping.
Exactly.
Buy for them.
Put it in the compound.
They'll just be jumping.
Just give them 2 seeds of rice. I have it on my page. 2 seeds of rice, 2 seeds of rice. How many is that for? By the time you give them one derican.
Yes, let them pick and all of that. So
the child will be sleeping.
So a lot of people need to understand how children operate. But because we don't understand that, and then we have our own normal everyday frustrations that make us upset and angry. Somebody has annoyed you at work and all of that. You transfer it on the children, and the next thing is the one spirit is leading this child. But if we learn how to understand children, it will go a long way.
So it's lazy parenting.
Yes.
Lazy guardianship.
Yes.
Because you're so lazy to take that work.
To solve the problem.
Exactly.
Let me take this call from Busola from Oshogbo. Good morning, Busola. Are you there?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Yeah, this is my first time.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really interested in contributing to the topic.
Yes, go ahead.
Living with relatives, I think in Nigeria, it's always something very difficult. I have an instance. It happened to me. I had to go and stay with my husband's relatives, my in-laws, at some point in time. So it happened that my sister-in-law's son, a teenager, like 17 years old, you know, they expected me to be calling him Boda this, Boda that.
And their problem starts.
You know, and for crying out loud, from my own family's background, we don't do that in our families. You know, we don't call our relatives Boda or auntie, in as much as we are older than them.
Right.
So it happened that my sister-in-law one day, the boy went to report to his mom that I scolded him. The next thing, she just came, she almost beat me up.
Wow.
And considering the fact that I married their son with a child. I had a child married before marrying their son. You get it now?
Yes.
So you know she was telling me Orela share to that extent that Orela
in front
share
of the child.
They've done me a favor to have married me. In fact, that so demoralized me. Eventually the marriage broke up. So we really need to correct that impression of
we need to get rid of it.
You know, attacking too much.
Right. Thank you so much for bringing us, because that's judging people. Orela share because she had a child and got married to somebody.
It's even worse.
It's worse than that.
In front of the child that has just misbehaved, you're saying Orela share, you're demeaning that person, adding no value, no respect to that person. And you think you're giving your child an example to follow. He will finally disgrace you soon. The child will finally disgrace you in future, no be swear. Because it's this way. When your child does something wrong to someone else, the moment that child does it, wherever he or she does it, immediately you must correct it.
Right there.
So that all the time, my neighbor that helps me, her daughter will come to the house, and my daughter feels this power to speak up because, the woman never allows her daughter scold my child. I've always complained about it, that there must be egbon, there must be aburo, and it must be well spelled out. As long as she's with her, she's her elder sister part-time, and this one cannot be allowed to talk. But because the woman doesn't want me to feel offended, she will now say, no. So I continue to see this tradition continue. One day I just came and my daughter was doing it. Talk to me, I'll pitch it. I said, no problem. I said, can we go home? And she went home. I locked her up. I gave her, I said, who is she again? My auntie. Who is she again? She's my auntie. Will you talk to her? No. I established it myself.
Yes.
Yeah. I did that in my house.
I don't want that child to grow up tomorrow and talk to everybody.
In my own house, there are laws. And the children, I said, listen, you guys, you're in this household. You are the smallest. I called all of them.
Yes.
I said, everybody here is an adult. Yes. Because they always try to play each other. They'll say, Mommy, can I go and take biscuit? I said, what did your auntie say? Because they know that if that one I've said no, because maybe because she already knows what they heard. I said, whatever your auntie says. Because we establish it very clear. Because that's how to raise children. They must know the hierarchy. Yeah. But at the same time, I want us to go back, because we're going to round up the show very, very, very soon. I want us to go back to what we are learning. What narrative are we changing so far today? What's that thing? What's that crux of the matter? Because number one, I like what Moses said. Even though we don't want to worry too much about what people are saying, but perception is also key. You must be seen to be just.
Doing the right thing.
You must be seen to be doing the right thing. So as much as your conscience, which is relative, your conscience can tell you, do it this way. Give that person fish, not chicken, because I can't afford to give you chicken. Your conscience, wait, at least I've done my own part. But I think that when people are seeing you, are they seeing at least she's well nourished?
Yes.
You know, that's the perception.
Children, they like my own. If you give them, they will not eat it. They'll waste it. So it's not about being nourished.
For me, it's not about being seen to be. Because there's a thin line between that and hypocrisy. For me, it's about being. So are you loving these children? Are you taking care of these children? We may see you giving them Gary and we judge you, but because you don't have any other thing in the house to give them, it's Gary that you have. So are you in your heart doing what you think is right? And for me, the bottom line of everything is love. If you love yourself enough, unconditional love, you will be able to love your children and love others who come close to you. And it's not just about people who are working with you. The people you meet on the streets, the receptionists you meet when you go out, how do you treat them? Because that way it still reflects on how you treat people.
But this one, that her in-law, the 17-year-old boy that misbehaved. Now, how does she treat that person?
Do you know that mother has established a lifelong hatred between the wife and her son? And the son. For life. For life. That's what even when the mother is right, all sorts of names. See, as long with what Obiajulo has said, you are human. Yeah. You know your limits. If you are temperamental, you know it. If you cannot take, maybe when they spill water in front of you, you will spark. Ordinary water. Talk less of when they break up. Please don't bring the person that will come inside and break television. And be bold to say it. And people, please don't judge a person for saying, I can't deal with this. At time. Don't push people to do things that you now be the same people to judge them. They know what they can take. I can't deal with this. I can't, please, I can't always visit. Right now, I can't take your kids. I'm in my own space. Yesterday, I was discussing with, you know, Wura. Wura is my counselor. So once in a while, when I need private talk to counsel, I'll call her. Well, on the phone, and she was saying, Nima, I'm friendly, yes, but I like my space. I don't like visitors. I was like, I even don't know if they pay you. We'll come, you know. But I appreciated that fact. And I can't judge her for that. Straight up. Yeah. If you don't want visitors, say it. Life, everyone will not fall. And all of us will love you. Darling friend, she's friendly, but visitors,
you can't come into her space.
Welcome in. Yeah. 13 years that she's been doing what she's doing, and no wahala of, you know, gathering people. So people should stop judging people for such things. Yeah. What we should be judging people for is when I pretend and say, and I need the girl, come, you, from morning to night, be fetching water from river to drum. Have you swept compound? Are you all right? You do all that to that poor child, and then you lock that child up in the toilet, beat them, take hot iron on the child, for God's sake. Yeah.
Okay, when it comes to house helps, I would say if they are less than 18, don't bring them in. We need to establish that. Yes. That's one. Secondly, you know that plan where you talk to your help and see that the children obey and all of that. I tried it with me, and it backfired because she now started beating my children seriously. She was beginning to maltreat them till I called her and said, come, you know, follow me, born these children. You will never have to raise your hand. Anything they do you don't like, you report to me. And that was when it stopped. So I think as parents, we need to still observe. Before you open, give some people power to take over. It's not blanket rule. You need to observe. You need to observe, see how she noticed that somebody was already...
to spank. I told her, well, listen, we are raising these children together in my house. Okay. There are times I am not around. Yeah. If they do something, please, by all means, spank. Not that you go and carry blala or belt, but please, by all means, spank. I tell them, spank the child for me. And when he comes back, I'll now double spank when I know what the child did.
It's okay, but you need to also observe, exactly.
Because I will carry my child when I get there. Show that my small boy. If you spank him, I'll see your fingers on him in the next 5 hours. I will look at the back. Look at the front. Okay, it's fine.
It's fine.
So imagine that I look at the back and look at the front, and your 5 finger is showing there. That I will give you before your ancestors
so we need to be very careful. So observation.
You need to balance it. So
balance it.
Correction. Right. What I always emphasize is that to the auntie now, whenever I come home and she does something, please don't cover up. Yeah. But I see her do I don't want them to cry. Make sure you tell me, and she knows that justice will be served.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. I wish we could talk about this till tomorrow. I mean, it's something we need to continually discuss and help each other. As I said, don't judge anybody. People are going through different things. Help out. Don't worry about what people say about you. Let your conscience be clear that you are doing the best you can to help those around you and to do the right thing. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.